Once upon a time, there were a Mr. and Mrs., and they decided that they wanted to have a baby. Once they found out they were pregnant, they wanted to share with the world the gender of their baby, and they had the best idea ever. Except that it didn't quite turn out the way that they had hoped. It soon turned from this into this. As of the date that I am recording this California fire has been burning for more than 9 days and is currently about 44% contained. Those that are investigating the fire say that the fire started due to a pyrotechnics show gone very wrong.
Malloy says a family had come to the park for a gender reveal party.
I have nothing against people having gender reveal parties.
He says surveillance video from the park bathrooms shows them standing in 3 to 4 foot high seasonal grass.
That family at that time used a pyrotechnic device which emits smoke.
That device started the fire.
Are you serious?
Some of the personal information of this family has not made public, so at the time of this recording, we still don't know if they're having a boy or a girl. I'm Hannah, wife without kids, and I believe that having kids is a choice and not a social obligation. This channel is all about supporting people like you who have made the choice to not have any children. I wasn't really going to talk about this specific topic, but it's all over the news, and so I can't help but just weigh in and give my opinion about this. Now, finding out you're having a child is a really big event in most people's lives. People are very excited about it, and they want to celebrate the fact that they are going to be parents, which I have nothing against. In my opinion, gender reveal parties should not be risking people's lives or risking people's homes. They should not be using up the valuable time of emergency crews to put out fires that could have been avoided. And our natural resources here on Earth should not be getting destroyed just so you can let somebody know what sex your baby is going to be. So how did these gender reveal parties even really start? Jenna Karvunidis is no stranger to this phenomenon. In fact, she has been credited as being the inventor of the modern day gender reveal party. Back in 2008, she found herself pregnant for the 3rd time. She had had 2 miscarriages, and so when she carried her baby to the point where she was able to find out what gender it was, she wanted to share that with her family, and she wanted to make it special because it was obviously a very special moment for her and her husband. Now, her gender reveal was very simple. It was a cake with pink icing on the inside, and when her and her husband cut into it, she found out she was having a girl. I love a good party, especially if there's gonna be cake. I love the icing more than the actual cake. Back in the day, I used to just buy containers of icing and eat it with a spoon. Like, no shame, it was amazing. And then one day I realized after I'd eaten several containers in 1 week that I was getting out of control, so I had to make myself stop. She ended up sharing this little gender reveal that she did with her family on her blog, High Gloss and Sauce. And it actually ended up getting some traction and being picked up by The Bump magazine, which I didn't even know was a magazine until I started researching for this video. Obviously, why would I know it was a magazine if I don't have kids? Karvunidis says she started to notice more and more people doing gender reveal parties and sharing them online. And as the years passed, the parties became more and more extravagant because, you know, that's just what we humans tend to do. What can we do to outdo somebody else? Recently, she was interviewed and she stated in her interview that this whole thing is becoming a nightmare. She might be onto something. There are a lot of gender reveal parties that have gone wrong. And by wrong, I don't just mean they put the wrong color of icing inside the cake and you thought you were having a boy, but now you're actually having a girl. I mean, people take such big risks to get a few seconds of fame, and sometimes it puts people's lives in danger. And it really isn't worth it. Today, I just want to cover a few of those. So we've already briefly talked about the Dorado fire that is currently ongoing. Now, this next story is incredibly sad, and I'm sure the family was absolutely devastated that this happened. But in 2019 in Iowa, a grandmother was accidentally injured very badly and did not make it when her family constructed to announce the gender of their child. Now, there's certain words that I'm not going to be able to say because this video will get flagged and I'll get in trouble, so I'll just have to put some of the words up on the screen if I can't think of another way to describe them. Now, this homemade gender reveal contraption contained, and obviously when it was set off, and sent pieces of metal flying in all directions. One of these pieces of metal hit Grandma and she didn't make it. This is so sad. The story goes on to say that after this piece of metal hit Grandma, it continued to fly another 450 feet until it came to rest. I'm sure the family obviously had no idea that this was going to happen. I am so sorry for the loss of that grandma to that family. That is absolutely horrific. Now, investigators say that members of this specific family had been experimenting with different types of in an attempt to be able to record a gender reveal that could be featured on social media. And just a month previous to that horrific event in September 2019, at another gender reveal disaster in Texas, 2 people were very lucky to escape with their lives. The story goes that a small plane was flying fairly close to the ground, and it was filled with 350 gallons of water that was dyed pink because the individuals in the plane were going to release this water, and so all the spectators on the ground could see what the baby was going to be. After all the water had been released from the plane unfortunately stalled and then crashed in a field nearby. The plane actually landed upside down, but the pilot was able to walk away without any injuries. The reports do say that the passenger was injured but did make a recovery. The FAA ended up doing an investigation and actually ended up reporting that the plane was only supposed to hold 1 passenger, the pilot, and not the second individual. So thankfully no one ended up losing their lives in that specific incident, but honestly still really scary. Now we're going to take a little trip all the way to 2017, where our off-duty Border Patrol agent Dennis caused quite a stir. He started a wildfire in Arizona when his gender reveal announcement went very wrong. He used a high-powered to hit a target that contained... Now the target was hit, and everyone figured out pretty quick that they were going to be having a boy. But what Dennis didn't figure out right away was that 47,000 acres were going to burn because of his mistake. This became known as the massive Sawmill fire, and it caused over $8.2 million in damage. Dennis did end up pleading guilty to the federal charges, and he had to repay $220,000, and he received 5 years of probation. He told the judge he was very sorry about what happened and that was the worst day of his life. Now obviously every fire is not caused by man. Dry weather conditions, little or no rain, lightning, and other natural causes can all lead to forest fires, but we as people can actually prevent some of these fires. Does anyone out there remember Smokey Bear? If you do, put down in the comments, give me like a thumbs up or give me like a yes for Smokey Bear. Smokey Bear was actually a real bear who was rescued from a burning forest in the 1950s in New Mexico. Unfortunately, the little bear did get some burns on his paws and on his hind legs. However, he was rehabbed and did make a decent recovery. He became part of a national fire prevention program. I remember when I was a kid in school, we would watch these fire prevention videos, and they were put on, or they were narrated by Smokey Bear. And he would always say, "Only you can stop forest fires." Now obviously humans can't stop every single forest fire, and we can't prevent every single forest fire, but we can really do our part to help the stop of wildfires by not making foolish decisions like some of the ones I talked about today. Maybe we need to bring back Smokey Bear to teach us some common sense. So many people right now are living in areas that have, restrictions as far as going outside due to the air quality. Gender reveal parties are obviously not to blame for all of these fires, but you know what? There are fires that could be prevented. So let's just do our part and try and make sure that we're not making mistakes and making decisions that are not thought out, so that we don't have another El Dorado. Now remember Jenna Karvunidis? Her name seems to always come up when there's a gender reveal party disaster. She had this to say about the gender reveal El Dorado fire, and I quote, "Stop it. Stop having these stupid parties. Stop burning things down just to tell people about your kid. We can do our small little part at making sure that we're not the cause of a fire that could be prevented."